President Aliev has changed and grown more erratic over the last decade. I'd say his trajectory is almost analogous to what we saw with Sadam Husein. That said, strategy matters, and so does timing. We need to talk about sequencing. It's one thing to try to get a broad agreement between Armenia and Azerbaijan, but that agreement is going to be meaningless if disputes with regard to the borders are kicked down the road. Because if that happens, then Azerbaijan is going to have an excuse in order not to implement an agreement. It also opens the floor, opens the possibility to have some sort of fake 9-dash line type map. And we've already heard President Aliev saying, well, Yerevan is part of historical Azerbaijan. We need to nip this in the bud. We can't simply assume that this is a rhetorical excess, the way, unfortunately, we did with Saddam Hussein in 1990 before his push into Kuwait. I would also argue that we need to ensure that the laws which are on the books are actually implemented. The waiver of Section 907 of the Freedom Support Act does not enable diplomacy. Moral equivalence does not work. Impunity invites aggression. It's also an affront to Congress. If the State Department finds that Section 907 and what the waiver requires is inconvenient, then it should go to Congress to pass a new amendment, to pass a new law. It can't simply willy-nilly override U.S. law. I would argue that the logic that we can't enforce the U.S. law because it would impede diplomacy is also inaccurate. Azerbaijan is going to do what's in Azerbaijan's interest vis-a-vis Iran. They're not doing it simply because we're allowing Azerbaijan to have some weaponry, which, as Ambassador Brownback has said, has been utilized against Armenia, not only the Armenian population in Nagorno-Karabakh, but against Armenia proper. We also have on the books the Humanitarian Corridors Act, which dates back to the first Nagorno-Karabakh war and to the Bosnia conflict. The fact is, and we've seen this in the last day, with Azerbaijan using BTRs, armored personnel carriers, to block the Lachin corridor, they are in violation of this. And as far as I'm aware, there's absolutely no waiver with regard to the Humanitarian Corridors Act, and therefore U.S. assistance should stop immediately. There's also the Magnitsky Act, which is another policy arrow in our quiver. Azerbaijan is one of the most corrupt countries on earth. That corruption is clear because despite its tremendous hydrocarbons, its actual per capita income is less than that of Georgia and Armenia. Cultural heritage also matters, and I'm sure David Phillips, my good friend, is going to talk about this. But before we impose a peace, we should at the very least have a 24/7, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week video monitoring. We shouldn't just verify. We shouldn't just trust. We need to verify as well in real time. We should focus on incitement. There's going to be no lasting peace if Azerbaijan still incites from school-age kids and in the military against Armenians. The State Department should issue, and Congress should require through an act, an annual report on the state of Azerbaijani incitement.